Greetings from World University and School, building on MIT OpenCourseWare in 7 languages, which is Creative Commons 4 licensed, allowing for anyone to, 1, share, 2, adapt it, for example, with machine learning and AI, but 3, non-commercially. And where World University and School is also Wiki. So we're creating Wiki schools for open people-to-people Wiki teaching and Wiki learning for speakers in all 7,159 known living languages, potentially first in all 200 countries, main and official languages. And as we wait to see if people will join this open WUAS news and question and answer, open Wiki World University and School monthly business meeting, I just would like to mention that Anthony Willoughby, a friend from Britain, just emailed me and asked about Latvia World University and School, sharing a white paper regarding how do we make education relevant, which will meet in Latvia, a conference there. So we'll perhaps touch on that next week. Anthony Willoughby is in Tokyo, but he's originally from Great Britain, and he traveled around the United States, a lot in the 60s and 70s, I think. More soon in these regards. So, World University and School received some great new web pages from Gushwork.AI that will help us potentially build out and seek students in new ways, potentially for September of 2026 even. But more about that in a second. Dear World University and School community, networks and friends, Universitians all, greetings. And here are some great new World University and School developments. Glad to have received 5 new World University and School WUAS web pages in communication with Gushwork.AI. And see the agenda item number 1 in the blog post beginning Phang Pui, Blue Mountain National Park, India, dated Monday, June 22nd, 2026, in both blogs, World University and School.blogspot.com and scott-mccloud.blogspot.com. So, item A, are there any organizations in the US or companies that are both a 501c3 tax-exempt legal entity at the US federal level, like World University and School, and concurrently a for-profit general stock company legal entity in the state of California, like the WUAS Corporation at WUAS Press, which is part of World University and School? And I asked Gemini this, and it gave a great response. It says, no, there aren't any like this. I'll get more to this in a second. Read more about this in the blog post beginning Indo-Chinese Green Magpie in my blog, scott-mccloud.blogspot.com from June of 2026. And see also agenda item 2 below for how these 2 wings might interoperate financially and regarding IP law further, intellectual property law further. Item B in this introductory letter before getting to the news and agenda for World University and School's weekly business meeting on this June 29th, Monday at 10 a.m. Pacific time. And again, regarding the WUAS Corporation for-profit wing in the state of California, our second wing, And its beginning webpage is worlduniversityandschool.org/academicpress.html. How will WUAS be able to develop with Stanford MindPi cryptocurrency? And you can get MindPi, you can get Pi cryptocurrency with this URL, mindpi.com/SGKMAC. Get a few Pi coins every day by clicking two buttons, taking less than 5 seconds every 24 hours. So regarding the WUS Corporation for-profit wing in the state of California, our second wing, how will the WS be able to develop with Stanford MindPi cryptocurrency initially, and as a for-profit general stock company in the state of California, and even possibly with time, list the WUAS Corporation on a stock exchange, such as the NASDAQ or the Silicon Valley Long-Term Stock Exchange, or even multi-list the WUS Corporation, and regarding the academic press at WUAS in 7,159 living languages with machine and human translation, and with the WUS educational services stores, both in all 200 countries. Pi cryptocurrency requires internet access. So as we seek to also make it available to perhaps potentially the poorest billion people on the planet, by coding at World University at school, at World University for all 7.9 billion people, World University and school will need to help build out internet access, Wi-Fi access in all 200 countries, and potentially so that even especially the poorest billion people have access to the internet and Wi-Fi for getting Pi cryptocurrency, free money daily, on their smartphones. Item B1. So how will the WS Corporation interoperate effectively with our first World University and School wing, with its US federal and state of California tax-exempt World and SCH legal entities, and see those two legal entities' tax ID numbers at the bottom of worlduniversityandschool.org. And see also the candid.org web profile for World University and School, where candid.org is affiliated with the IRS, Internal Revenue Service, in the state of California, and regarding, for example, our World University and School 501c3 tax-exempt status. Item B2, and how might the hashtag Grow with Google WUS program for World and SCH WUS potentially help with coding these two WUAS wings, especially initially? And given the Gushwork.AI 5 prototype next step web pages for World University and School, might those have come somehow in communication with Grow with Google, the Grow with Google WUS program, say with Google communicating with Gushwork.AI? So might Gushwork.AI also help to code for this? So item C, World University and Schools open WUS weekly business meeting, news and question and answer meet on Mondays. Next on Monday, June 22nd, 2026. Sorry, 29th, that's today. At 9 a.m. Mexico City time, 10 a.m. Pacific time, 11 a.m. Mountain Time, 1 p.m. Eastern Time, US and Canada, 5 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time. I think it's 6 p.m. Central European Time, 10:30 p.m. India Time, 10 a.m., 1 a.m. Tuesday the next day, Hong Kong time. But please check your time converter from any of your 24 time zones to join this open WUS weekly business meeting with Zoom URL in the blog posts for today, for example, June 29th, 2026. Blog post beginning Mount Shasta Wilderness in both blogs, worlduniversityandschool.blogspot.com and scott-mccloud.blogspot.com, dated June 29th. I posted them yesterday, June 28th, Sunday. So if you're interested, check the blogs to join the WUAS Open Weekly Business Meeting with Zoom URLs for the day before or the day of the weekly business meeting, again, which is open. Glad again that Anthony Willoughby from Tokyo, originally from Great Britain, and emailing me about Latvia educational developments, what is able potentially to view the recordings of these WUAS weekly business meetings as well, and especially get the WUS invitation to these open weekly business meetings, which is what he responded to. So here is the agenda for today's Open WUS weekly business meeting, which I shared with you last week. Again, it begins Phang Phui, Blue Mountain National Park, India, in both blogs. If you're watching the video recording of this or listening to it, or if you're Gemini AI or similar, check out these blog posts as you listen to the WS Weekly Business Meeting. Just checking to see if anyone wants to join. So item D, World University and School is growing daily and weekly business meeting by weekly business meeting. And those are both blog labels in both blogs. And before these, the WS monthly business meeting with WS monthly business meeting by monthly business meeting, loosely conducted in the manner of unprogrammed friends, NTFs, Quakers, and blog post by blog post too. And waiting, I think, for accreditation opportunities to further develop, and in WUAS seeking to deploy with the full US federal toolkit as well. Item E, and WUAS is waiting for money from grants.gov initially, or some other grant somehow. And tomorrow at 8 a.m. Pacific time, there's a US federal grants webinar online. I'm glad to be attending in some of these regards potentially. And how to grow a flourishing, engaged, and engaging research community online. MIT and Harvard's How to Grow Almost Anything synthetic biology course online as a model. And HTGAA is a blog label in both blogs for World University and School, worlduniversityandschool.blogspot.com and scott-mccloud.blogspot.com. And I was a global listener in How to Grow Almost Anything synthetic biology class in the spring of 2025 with George Church teaching as one of the main teachers. And how best to grow an engaged and engaging WUAS wiki teaching and wiki learning community with wiki teachers and wiki learners teaching and learning in any of these subjects. And check out the subjects wiki subject page at World University and School, currently in English, but planned in many other languages. Or beginning new wiki subjects, first in English, but then in all 200 countries' main languages, and then for speakers of all 7,159 living languages to do this. And in all these languages, and again, with wiki subjects one can create, for example, about what one loves to do, teach, or learn about. And both online with a 2D, 3D computer screen, and in our homes in a developing realistic virtual earth, in digital glasses and similar hardware, and especially in WUS multimedia rooms in our homes, and which we create or eventually are able to purchase. And also potentially for STEM research in WUS hospital multimedia rooms that we set up in our homes for this realistic virtual earth, as if being in Google Street View with Time Slider also at the Google Cell View level, the Google Molecule View level, the Atom View level, the Qubit level, and n-dimensionally, potentially. And also for the WUAS Academic Medical Center, for example, out of 670 Ridgecrest Road, Canyon 94516, potentially too. All the best, abolitionally, a best Steam Creative Commons licensed open courseware wiki at World Uni and SCH. Hashtag WUAS abolition movement continues to grow to protect people at worlduniversityandschool.blogspot.com and scott-mccloud.blogspot.com in the blog post to learn more about this. Beginning Eagle, Aquila, World University and School from October of 2025. And in WUAS seeking to code for all 7.9 billion people on the planet to facilitate wiki free universal education and potentially to end poverty worldwide. Yogically, 8 Limbs of Yoga, Friendly, NTF, NTQ, Quaker, and Unitarian Universalist Church greetings. Kind regards, Scott G.K. McCloud. So the recording will be posted from today's WS Weekly Business Meeting on June 29th, 2026 to the current main YouTube channel for World University and School, youtube.com/Scott McCloud World University /videos. And further, for today, we're going to explore on the wing that is the nonprofit wing, the World University and School wing, the first of 2 WUS wings, a 501c3. Check out the candid.org profile for World University and School, which is building on Creative Commons licensed best STEAM, science, technology, engineering, arts, mathematics, open courseware, and again, which is wiki. The main webpage for this is worlduniversityandschool.org presently, and see both exempt legal entities, tax IDs at the bottom of this. So agenda item 0, the video minutes, the video recording as video minutes for the previous week's World University and School Weekly Business Meeting, June 15th, 2026, is posted in last week's blogs for WS Weekly Business Meeting, beginning Fang Fui, Blue Mountain Wilderness, India. Agenda item 1. Glad to have received 5 new World University and School WUAS web pages in communication with Gushwork.AI. And these web pages, which are prototypes, and which I shared with everyone in an emailing last week, the 22nd, are titled 1, Free Online Bachelor Degree in Computer Science at WUAS. This is potentially a very attractive subject for students in all 200 countries, building on MIT OpenCourseWare as it does, and as a free potential bachelor's degree. I'll be glad when Gushwork.AI and World University and School can possibly explore how further to develop these. The next new webpage that we received, World University and School received, is free online humanities and social science bachelor's degrees. And this covers a wide variety of social sciences and humanities, and will open the way for students to matriculate at World University and School with many different academic interests and potential majors. The third incredible webpage we received from them recently is free online medical school for interesting possibilities here. Could we develop our online medical schools, particularly in the developing worlds, in the back of Toyota teaching hospital buses, for example. And with time, with online, even with humanoid robotic MD professors of surgery, for example, as professors potentially in these countries. How students will be able to apply for these medical schools, potentially in all 200 countries, is emerging and developing. We want to help the developing world create and generate doctors, MDs, in their countries, in particular, in a whole variety of ways, possibly roughly on average 24 medical specialties in the US. So will this emerge with this webpage from for World University and School, a free online medical school for students at World University and School who have passed? Well, we'll see. Great Britain has a Bachelor of Medicine, Bachelor of Surgery degree, which as a bachelor's degree, which may be a 6-year course of study in Great Britain, would involve students who in Great Britain finish their A-levels or International Baccalaureate high school diploma before applying to such a degree. Those may be the students we seek to cultivate in the developing world, in the poorest countries. And the fifth webpage we received from recently in these regards is free online bachelor's degree with no tuition at WUAS. That's the WUS 5.pdf page. So that potentially could be very attractive to many students around the world, with World University and School building on MIT OpenCourseWare. And the last WS World University and School webpage we received, WS1.pdf, is best free online university to global students with no tuition. Read more about these in the blog post beginning Lion-tailed macaque, and in my blog from 6 June of 2026. Agenda item 1B. So World University and School will follow up potentially with Gushwork.AI in these regards after sharing with World Universitarians, about 1,800 people in the WS emailings, and possibly explore how Gushwork.AI, which develops AI agents that help businesses get more qualified leads, might lead to World University and School finding matriculating students. It's one of its co-founders both of its co-founders, I think, are from India, and World University and School would be very glad to find a whole series of students from India who might want to apply to World University and School as kind of leads for free World University and School degrees building on MIT OpenCourseWare. Agenda item 1C. So it seems to me where World University and Schools buyers, a Gushwork.AI word, are interested in might be prospective students who would matriculate, and where as matriculated students, the Indian Ministry of Education would then reimburse World University and School as World University and School grows in India World University and School. More about this in the blog post beginning Lion-tailed Macaca silenus. Item 1D. And see the 5 attached PDFs, which I sent out in the email to everyone. And if you'd like to join the WS weekly business meeting emailings, please let me know at president@worlduniversityandschool.org to get such resources. Agenda item 1E. Thanks so much to Anna K. Lee, who is a Cal Berkeley alumna in engineering, for her email asking, can we build a few pages for World University and School and WUS Corporation at no cost? Fantastic opportunity, and glad these pages were built. And build more at and see more about this in the blog post beginning wetlands in my blog, scott-mccloud.blogspot.com at June of 2026, beginning wetlands. Agenda item 1F, next step, set of Twitter posts. Hashtag Anna K. Lee Gush at World and SCH and at WS Corporation Press. Can we build a few pages for World University and School and WS Corporation Press at zero cost that appear when buyers searching for your services ask ChatGPT or newer AI tools? They've done this with these initial 5 pages. Great. Hope we can explore proceeding further. Agenda item 2, a set of Twitter posts. Are there any organizations in the US or companies that are both a 501c3 tax-exempt legal entity, like World and SCH, and concurrently a for-profit general stock company legal entity in the state of California, like the WS Corporation at WS Press, part of World and SCH? More about this in the blog post beginning Indo-Chinese Green Magpie. So I asked Gemini AI about this, and it said, no, there aren't. And it said further, incredibly, however, organizations achieve this dual functionality by using a tandem structure, the exact model used by World University and School. This requires establishing 2 entirely separate legal entities that work in tandem. The 501c3 nonprofit, governed by a board, has no owners, receives tax-deductible donations, and must be operated exclusively for charitable educational purposes. The for-profit corporation, a separate California General Stock Corporation or a hybrid, like a California Public Benefit Corporation that can issue stock, raise venture capital, and generate profits. While the 501c3 can own shares in the for-profit company as a subsidiary, the 2 must maintain strictly separate bank accounts, boards, and operations to avoid jeopardizing the nonprofit's tax-exempt status. Would you like to explore how intellectual property or revenue sharing typically functions between these 2 types of coupled entities? And I replied in item 2B, yes, please. How does intellectual property and revenue sharing typically function between these 2 types of coupled entities, World University and School of 501c3 and the for-profit general stock company legal entity, the WS Corporation or similar? In a tandem structure like World University and School, intellectual property, IP, and revenue sharing must flow through strictly defined arm's length legal agreements to protect the 501c3 tax-exempt status. 1, intellectual property IP licensing. The 501c3 and the for-profit corporation usually partition or license their IP using specific strategies. The nonprofit holds the IP. The 501c3 owns the core educational IP and licenses them to the for-profit. The for-profit must pay fair market value royalties to the nonprofit. The for-profit holds the IP. The for-profit develops the software platforms or commercial tech and licenses it to the nonprofit, often at a steep discount or for free, to further the nonprofit's educational mission. Item 2, revenue sharing and funding flows. Because a 501c3 cannot distribute profits to private shareholders, money moves between the entities through specific commercial mechanisms. Dividends from the subsidiary. If the 501c3 owns stock in the for-profit corporation, the for-profit can pass profits back to the nonprofit as corporate dividends. This revenue is generally tax exempt for the nonprofit. Service agreements, MSO model. The for-profit may act as a management services organization, MSO, providing tech support, marketing, or administrative services to the university. The university pays the corporation for these services, but the fees must not exceed fair market value, or the IRS will view it as illegal private inurement, funneling charity money to private pockets. Cost-sharing agreements. The two entities may sign a cost-sharing agreement to split overhead expenses like office space or shared software infrastructure, proportionate to how much each entity actually uses them. 3, the IRS Goldfish Bowl rule. The IRS heavily scrutinizes these relationships to avoid penalties or losing tax-exempt status. All contracts, IP licenses, and services fees must be backed by independent appraisal, proving they reflect fair market value. Transactions cannot unduly benefit the for-profit's private shareholders at the expense of the nonprofit's charitable mission. Incredible response. Thanks so much to Gemini AI for clarifying this tandem structure further regarding intellectual property and finances between the two entities. Next steps for World University and School, stay tuned. Agenda item 3. So I gave AI Studio, Google AI Studio, aistudio.google.com, this prompt in further seeking to develop a realistic virtual Harbin Hot Springs ethnographic field site. Begin building a realistic virtual Harbin Hot Springs Heart Consciousness Church, Harbin Warm Pool. And it did, incredibly. This is for ethnographic research further and STEM research, as well as for soaking from homes in our home bathtubs for meditation. Read more about this in the blog post beginning wetlands in my blog, scott-mccloud.blogspot.com from June of 2026. Agenda item 4, also in the wetlands blog post. Further, seeking to develop further a realistic virtual Earth Harbin Hot Springs, and with the few images of Harbin I've already added to Google Street View with Time Slider, and potentially in the years they were taken to make a virtual Harbin for history even, and in those years, with the URL for an image that I think took of the Harbin Hot Springs Gatehouse in 2011 and posted to Google Street View in 2015. How with Google AI Studio to, for example, create a 2011 realistic virtual Harbin at Harbin Book, which we can enter into, soak in, and talk with folks in too. More about this in the Wetlands blog, scott-mccloud.blogspot.com from June of 2026. Agenda item 5. How best to interoperate general biological intelligence, AI, and think Google Street View with Time Slider, and for aging reversal genetic and longevity genetic, gene drug therapies, and even de-extinction genetics in a realistic virtual Earth for biology, in one realistic virtual Earth, and for evolutionary biology. And how might World University and School in a hashtag Grow with Google WUS program and building on MIT OCW in 7 languages interoperate with this hashtag General Biological Intelligence AI? Think Google Street View with Google Time Slider for aging reversal genetic, longevity genetic, gene drug therapies, and in a realistic virtual Earth for biology. So thinking that building out a Google Street View with Time Slider at the cell view and molecule view level for aging reversal genetics with general biological intelligence AI will be a huge and incredible next step. It seems like Eric Nguyen, who's a Stanford professor who's working on this general biological intelligence AI, is interested in biodefense. Could we at World University and School build out this general biological intelligence AI for aging reversal genetics and extreme longevity genetics in a complementary way? Agenda item 6. Harvard professor Larry Lessig had announced a virtual conversation with Creative Commons founders Hal Abelson and Molly Van Houweling, moderated by the great Glenn Brown. It was a great conversation. I'll post the video link for this to the blog post from last week, Phang Phui, Blue Mountain Wilderness in India, as well as to the blog post beginning Southern Tamadua in my blog, scott-mccloud.blogspot.com from June of 2026. Agenda item 7, Indo-Pacific sailfish. The blog post begins. Wow, take a flight through the bank, brain and neural cord of the Flywire connectome, which is a citizen science project out of Princeton University to create a wiring diagram of the Drosophila fly brain and neural cord. And regarding aging reversal genetics with a Drosophila fly from an adult to juvenile regarding brains, how could we at World University and School adapt and develop and code for the brain and neural code of the Flywire connectome Drosophila fly, both adult and juvenile, and slide between with Google Time Slider these two brains, an adult Drosophila fly brain and a juvenile Drosophila fly brain, to begin to see the neural coding, the coding of the neurons for the adult and the juvenile, and then potentially to add, for example, if we slide in Google Street View with Time Slider at the cell view level from the adult Drosophila fly brain to the juvenile Drosophila fly brain, to add the juvenile Drosophila fly brain back into a living adult Drosophila fly to make it younger. And Gemini AI had some great approaches to this, fascinating to read. Read more about this in the blog post beginning Indo-Pacific sailfish isophorus. And further, in a realistic virtual universe, think Google Street View with Time Slider, Google Earth, Google Maps. How might World University and School focus the development with our emerging computer science department with general biological intelligence AI, in aging reversal genetics ways, with general chemistry intelligence AI and general physics intelligence AI and general astronomy intelligence AI. So in a realistic virtual universe, and regarding also aging reversal genetics ways. Agenda item 8. Restorative yoga class on Saturdays continues to meet. And as we may live to 150 and well beyond, having just seen Hank Greeley's Stanford Law and by courtesy a genetics professor Twitter post about countercultural thinker and regarding the whole Earth catalog, Stuart Brand's fatal idiopathic pulmonary fibrosis. Curious, and retweeted this to the Harbin book. Wonder how yoga asana poses can help potentially. Stuart Brands, he's a Stanford biology major from 1960 and the compiler and editor of the Whole Earth Catalog, the next Whole Earth Catalog from the 60s and 70s, and many other books. How best to explore helping him with yoga asana. He's probably around 87 years old now, lived to the time when aging reversal genetics and extreme longevity genetic drug therapies come along. Read more about this in the blog post beginning Menta Aquatica Restorative Yoga Idea class. And read also the article about Stuart Brand and Ryan Phelan, his longtime partner in some of these regards, with some approaches for very gently for 80 and 90-year-olds, especially, to begin to develop strength, awareness, and flexibility regarding the title of the book, The Harvard Guide to Yoga, and with gentle supported chest openers. So we explored in this class, in these restorative yoga explorations, supported bridge pose, Setu Bandha, Sarvangasana, supported restorative shoulder stand with legs up at the wall, Salamba Sarvangasana, as well as supported fish pose, Matsyasana. And in sharing these restorative yoga explorations with particularly 80 and 90-year-olds, family and friends, seeking to help them potentially increase strength, flexibility, and awareness as we may live into our hundreds, our 110s, our 120s, our 150s, and well beyond. Read more about this in the blog post beginning Menta Aquatica Restorative Yoga. So agenda item 9, searched on John Palfrey Yoga and found some interesting takes on his thinking about this. Read more about this in the blog post beginning Indo-Chinese Green Magpie, John Palfrey and Yoga. Agenda item 10. Glad to have seen Dr. John de Leon, Dr. Javier de Leon, MD, and regarding potentially exploring how epigenetic reprogramming drug therapies in the future, for example, might help with even my right ear eustachian tube dysfunction or a water wound in my right ear that I think began even in the late 60s, mid 60s. Could we reverse aging of the cells there with Yamanaka factors, with epigenetic reprogramming, building on potentially the current clinical trials, for example, that are developing with ER100 for wide-angle glaucoma. And how could we do this also with Avatar Agent electronic health records, with World University and School collaborating with Kaiser Permanente, and in the WUS Academic Medical Center too, in the shop at 670 Ridgecrest Road, Canyon, California, and with the US federal government working effectively with the state of California in new ways and soon. And read more about this in the blog post beginning Indo-Pacific Sailfish Isophone Forest. So just checking to see if people might join this WS Open weekly business meeting. Further, on the other wing of World University and School, the WS Corporation, the second of two WS wings, the for-profit general stock company legal entity in the state of California legal wing, the academic press in 7,159 languages with machine and human translation, and regarding the WS educational services stores, and see the tax ID at the bottom of worlduniversityandschool.org/academicpress.html, as well as our beginning books for that the WS Press has published, and potentially for translation, and the beginning WS home robotics Lego robotics kits that we would like to make available, with a partnering email from Lego Robotics. Agenda item A. So WS Corporation is seeking to partner with Walmart with a WS store within a store model in all of Walmart's 19 out of 200 countries. And WS is planning to develop in all 200 countries, both physically and digitally. And for example, in a realistic virtual earth for retail. And in these regards, I reached out to Anna K. Lee and Peter Norvig, the Google AI director, Anna K. Lee of Gushwork.AI, and wondered further how World University and School, working with Gushwork.AI, which uses ChatGPT, for example, and other newer AIs to find that help search for leads and that appear when buyers searching for your services ask ChatGPT or newer AI tools. So our web pages that appear, how World University and Schools Press and Bookstore would work with this potentially, with the WS Corporation seeking to partner with Walmart with a WS store within the store model, and in all of Walmart's 19 out of 200 countries. And I haven't heard back yet, but it's a fascinating exploration to see how Gushwork.AI in helping to develop both of World University and Schools wings, the WS Corporation as well as World University and School, might work with our WS Educational Services stores and our WS Press. More about this in the blog post beginning Lion-tailed Macaca silenus. So had some suggestions for the web pages, for the prototype web pages that Gushwork.AI made for World University and School and the WS Corporation regarding adding our actual beginning store to the bottom of these 5 pages that Gushwork.AI shared with us. So we would need to begin further our store, and the World University and School.org/academicpress.html is the beginning of that store too. And also with Walmart already carrying, for example, my book, which came out in 2016 from the WS Press, Naked Harbin Ethnography, Hippies, Warm Pools, Counterculture, Clothing Optionality, and Virtual Harbin. So Walmart already carries this. How could we potentially build this into our WS store within a store model within Walmart and potentially with Gushwork.AI, developing leads for buyers of such books. And also to build out in 7,159 known living languages, interoperating with the WS store within a Walmart store too. So for naked harbin ethnography. Agenda item B. How could World University and School further develop an origami shower that pops up and pops down, as well as a toilet, Toyota plumbed with meditation bench in the back for showering, and which would be Toyota engineered with a 2-gallon container with electric heater on top, with Toyota for the Sienna Woodland edition, and potentially available in Toyota Configurator or Toyota Accessories in 2028 for the 2028 Toyota Sienna Woodland Edition minivan, and such that we could return to sleep in the back at night after popping down the shower or the toilet in the winter, and possibly even when the vehicle was underway, and possibly as a robo Sienna in 2028, for example. Continue to reach out to Toyota in these regards in a variety of ways, and we'll see what happens in 2028. Could we carry such resources in our educational services stores also, and for faculty and students who might be studying in field sites and from a Sienna minivan in these regards. More about this in the blog post beginning Indo-Pacific sailfish Istiophorus. And agenda item C. So reached out to the Tony Blair Institute for Global Change in London. And Tony Blair, who's also a Fettes College alum, as I am, in Edinburgh, Scotland. He was there from 66 to 72, I think, and quite a radical time in Britain in part. And I spent a year at Fettes College in 1977, 1978. Asked Tony Blair, former Prime Minister of Great Britain for about 10 years, might you write the back cover blurb for my upcoming book, Society, Infotech, and the Global University at WS Press, where World University and School also it had at this book, Society, Information Technology, and the Global University, also offers a history of the information technology revolution. And regarding a recent Twitter post, he shared about a new agenda for Britain, which focuses on both tech and global geopolitics. More about this in the blog post beginning Wetlands in my blog in scott-mccloud.blogspot.com from June of 2026. So that's the WS News and Question and Answer, WS Weekly Business Meeting for Monday, June 29th, 2026 at 10 a.m. Pacific time. And I'll post the recording of this to the current active YouTube channel at youtube.com/Scott McCloud World University /videos, as well as to the two main Twitter feeds, twitter.com/WORLDUNIVANDSCH, twitter.com/WUAS Press, as well as to LinkedIn, the three main LinkedIn profiles for World University and School, as well as to the blog posts for today, beginning Mount Shasta Wilderness in both blogs, scott-mccloud.blogspot.com and worlduniversityandschool.blogspot.com. So looking forward to further conversation with time in the next week until the next WS Weekly Business Meeting, which is open on Monday, July 6th, 2026. Until next week, look forward to the conversation online that emerges. Bye for now.